So what's the problem with Deutsche Bank? Is there a problem? Do we know there's a problem?
I think the banks here are in better shape than in Europe.
Not in terms of capital ratios.
Well,
they're much higher. But I don't, who knows? At this point, though, that's what's happening. And the reason is because of these credit default swaps. And you know what that is. This is after a jump in those CDSs last night on renewed concerns about the stability of European banks. Credit default swaps, obviously a form of insurance for companies' bondholders against its default. Other European banks are also tumbling on this news, and it looks like this. Whatever you thought happened with Credit Suisse and UBS, there's still at least some angst and some anxiety. Broader European markets are down.
Can we go back to the credit default swaps for a 1 week basis? Yeah, here you see down 1.5 to 2+% across the board. It looks like the credit default swaps only came back to where they were on Tuesday. It looks like they were even higher Monday night into Tuesday. So,
right.
That sense of calm was broken somehow, and they came back.
I just think people, I don't know whether, usually if there's some smoke, there's fire. But a lot of times, people that do this for a living are really looking around for something, and it's not self-fulfilling. But they can start beating the bushes for what's going to be next and want to be there first, whether there's really a problem or not at Deutsche Bank.
Particularly when it comes to banks, because banks are confidence. If you can create a problem with the confidence and create a run on the bank, that's when things happen more quickly.
And we've seen in the past, you can almost do it with the currency in terms of, we saw George Soros. Remember when they made so much money? One of his greatest trades was a currency trade.
Shorting.
Yeah, where you could tell that there was, if you were to get it started, it almost starts snowballing, and then the psychology kicks in, and then it becomes somewhat self-fulfilling. I think he would say that it wouldn't work if you didn't have the initial.
Probably both counts are right.
Right.
It wouldn't happen if you didn't have some problems under the hood to begin with. But that's always the concern. That's why regulators have, or the Fed or Janet Yellen, walking things back again yesterday, saying, if there are problems, we will step in.
I knew I was right about this.
About what?
About you can't do that implicit guarantee for SVB and say, all the depositors are, because then everybody's going to assume the next one that they're going to do it. Yeah. And that means everybody's covered. But everybody's not covered because you couldn't possibly cover everybody. So you can't, it's just a slippery slope that you go down. I think that was, I don't know how you walk that back, but.
Well, she tried to yesterday to some extent.
And that didn't help. But I didn't think Deutsche Bank was similar to Credit Suisse.
There are other people who were saying they couldn't believe that Credit Suisse was before Deutsche Bank. I saw that earlier.
You did?
Yeah, I saw that earlier. But it's, again, this is like people who may have bets placed on the opposite side of things, who may be rooting for it at this point or putting their money there.
They're all there. Pick your country.
Yeah. Societe Generale, Banco Bilbao, BNP Paribas, Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank, clearly the worst performer, at least at this moment. It's down by about 13%.
So now what, do we import this back here, or we're still,
well,
at least it's just regional.
They've been accusing us of exporting it there, which
right.
has not been the case.
Wow.
I mean, Credit Suisse in particular had a pretty troubled decade leading up to the problems that they just ran into.